Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Does it feel like it's been like 200 days since we knew the Snyder Cut existed? Seriously, I mean, it's been a long time. 227 days exactly from since the Justice League, or what we should say, well, the theatrical cut of Justice League came out on November 17th of 2017. To the dismay of many who left that theater for the first time, seeing that there was definitely something very wrong with that film, something very wrong that it does not feel like the movies from before. It doesn't feel like the third movie in a trilogy that started off with Man of Steel, then Batman v Superman, then finally Justice League. Of course, we all know now that even though the movie says directed by Zack Snyder, we all know now that it's not directed by Zack Snyder. A lot of those scenes were reshot and done by Joss Whedon, but because the DGA is protecting Zack Snyder because he filmed quite a bit, 100% of principal photography, and he was probably, there was a lot of different logistics involved with that, and all these things I've talked about with Alex Lobo and also John Aaron Garza. So we've talked about that before, and every day there seemed to be something incredibly new that pops up. I never got to talk about it on an official show like this, but yes, the Cyborg scene is an extended scene where you actually see him arc back, possibly ready to scream, seeing something, or possibly just showing all the trying to contain the power within the Motherbox. Now, a lot of us predicted that he was seeing Darkseid at that moment. Possibly, he could also be possibly seeing that. Although some other people have said that he saw Darkseid during when he hooked up to the Kryptonian ship, right before he wakes up Superman. So that could be also when he sees that as well. Although him freaking out, as per se, in that also in the trailer shot where it's a top-down view, looks like he's seeing something incredibly scary or fearing something. And I love the little edits people have done with that, showing, Injustice, Darkseid, but throwing in the nightmare sequence, throwing in Barry yelling, saying things like Lois is the key. Someone even said in that little trailer when it's pulled out from the top-down view, it kind of looks like he's yelling out Barry. So maybe he sees something in the future. But whatever the case, that part was cut out. And as you know, all those demo reels that are coming out, they've been cutting out lots of different little pieces, little frames here and there, several seconds here and there, including one of Superman where he dodges a punch and you pulls back a little bit more in order to see him in all his mustache-less glory, not CG'd out mustache, but actual footage from Zack Snyder. So we get to see a little more of that, and how the speed is done, especially when he's shooting his laser eye beams and throwing the punch at the same time. That is amazing. It's a different view on that. It's a different angle, and it's a little closer to Henry Cavill's face, and I think that looks quite amazing. But of those things, though, it seems to have started some kind of fear here, right? And I've already expressed my fear that I hope they don't just release the extended cut of Joss Whedon's extended cut. Some people on Twitter today had expressed that same feelings, and all because of what we've seen so far in the demo reels, which we kind of guessing if that's because they're working on it now and the things that are leaking are worked on for the extended Joss Whedon cut. Maybe the case, or maybe not. Now, what is to think about the demo reels here? These are demo reels from VFX companies, from VFX people. And they probably did work on a multitude of stuff, and from that, all those clips that they had worked on was torn down and collapsed into the 2-hour movie that we saw in the theatrical cut. Of course, we can also argue that some color grading has been done to these footages to make it a little bit better, or unless it was like that and then it was changed in the end to the theatrical cut. That's something we don't know altogether. We know that these demo reels are being pulled off the internet. They're being pulled off from Vimeo because Warner Brothers doesn't, for whatever reason, want us to see that. Maybe not yet. That could be the case as well. But what is the purpose of a demo reel? What is the purpose of a VFX reel? This essentially is a visual arts portfolio. This is how he sells himself, how they sell their companies to other movie production teams who want to utilize them to do the visual effects. So they always have a portfolio to pull. It's like having your resume, in fact, if you're not into the artistic things. People who have paintings, a painter, they would have a portfolio of different artistic work to them. I also had a portfolio of disc of things I edited when I was going into editing back in the day. I don't do that now, but I had a portfolio, a CD showing all my 4 or 5 different projects that I'm really feel that should I could use as my demo reel. So there is that. And it could be that these people who thought they were able to use it now because the movie has passed, they can throw it out there and say, hey, look at me, look at my company, or look at my portfolio and say, I'm a very good visual effects artist. Could you please hire me? And I think that's the case here when we're seeing all these VFX reels and demo reels. So I wouldn't get too worried that what we're seeing is a cut that they're working on. It could possibly not. It could possibly these were the ones they worked on, and ultimately it didn't end up in the theatrical cut, and this is just their demo reel portfolio. This is not exactly what was intended, right? So I gotta think that Joss Whedon, well, we've already seen the cuts and things even that Whedon shot, and there were extended scenes, that he reshot a lot of material that Zack Snyder had done. But after that, the Kevin Tsujihara said the 2-hour mandate was in place, and so he had to cut his own scenes in order to fit that 2-hour mandate. It's not like they said 2-hour mandate first and then reshoot around that 2-hour mandate. He probably just shot a whole bunch of scenes and de-Snyder did in a ways that it's like, you know, not don't have Cyborg screaming, maybe, possibly, unless the Cyborg screaming is a little bit later, like some people have said, you know, down to even Wonder Woman not smirking, and so it has all these elements in there that Zack Snyder reshot, not Zack Snyder, Joss Whedon reshot, redone, made things different, made it lighter in tone, maybe changed up the story, took away Darkseid, took away a bunch of little aspects in here and there, the bank explosion or wherever Wonder Woman was, that museum place. So there's those different elements, and after all said and done, then Kevin Tsujihara says 2-hour mandate. Then he had to cut his own material down to the thing. So, and that doesn't make it any better, because it does, that in itself sounds like there is a Joss Whedon extended cut, right? Yes, there's probably a Joss Whedon extended cut, okay? But a lot of people are saying they're gonna release a director's cut version of Justice League, and they're gonna call it a director's version, but it's all Whedon material. Now they can't do that. They can't do that because it's a DGA, and if Zack Snyder protested, he can come out and the DGA will protect him on that, because according to the DGA, he is the only guy who can approve the director's cut, approve them saying it's the director's cut. Granted, they could call it extended cut. Granted, they could call it the ultimate edition. Yes, they can do that. But for them to say this is the director's cut to try appease the fans that want the director's cut, well, that's a no-no. And if they're using Whedon cut, there's a Whedon material, that's a no-no. Okay, that's all a no-no. They cannot do that. So in order for them to actually release Justice League director's cut, it needs Zack Snyder's approval. Okay, it needs Zack Snyder approval, and that's what we want. That's what we want to hear. That's what we want. Some type of announcement or even some type of clarification, if anything at all, is coming out, and we haven't gotten anything. Nobody has said anything, right? And I know there are articles or there are YouTube channels who, much like myself, who are saying that, yes, there's a Snyder Cut now. They know it exists, but they're pretty much talking out of nowhere when they're saying it's probably not done. It's probably storyboards here and there. They don't know. We don't know. Jay Oliva is under an NDA. He can't tell us much. He can say that's mostly done, but he can't say how much of it is done. So when people are saying it's not entirely, it's going to be like storyboards and stuff like that, they don't really know. They're just, that's their opinion, and they can say whatever they want for their opinion, but they don't know. Please don't spread that out as facts, per se. The facts are, no one in the Warner Brothers camp, not even Cruel and Unusual Films, Zack Snyder himself, has officially come out to the trades and said that this is what's happening. Okay, he may be hinting. If we put our tinfoil hat on, he may be hinting about Californication. And I know some people, I'm trying to find whoever said that, but mentioned that in the album of Californication, there's a word saying parallel universe around the world, and maybe we're going a little too far down the rabbit hole here, but it could be hinting. It could not be hinting. Who knows? Zack Snyder is known to go beneath the surface level, so there's a lot to be said there. But at the same time, he hasn't actually come out and said anything. And that's why San Diego Comic-Con is so nerve-wracking, because people are expecting them to say something about Snyder Cut there. The news has been very calm, and it's cooling down. But it has been calm and cooling down for everything. If you haven't noticed, not much news is being said about other properties as well. Even Godzilla, all this, all these other movies that are coming out. It could be they're just preparing for something at San Diego Comic-Con. So I'd say be patient. The news about extended Whedon cut, it just comes out of fear. It comes out of fear from certain people, and they're just expressing their fear. They're just wondering what's going on, and they're maybe second guessing themselves in a way. They're because it's how long weeks more, right? It's like 20 more days, less than 20 days away. And so everybody's on edge right now, and I understand that. I'm totally due. Sometimes I get nervous too, but it's coming. I mean, the news of something is gonna come. Whether we like it or not, we just have to wait and see. And I know it's hard to not speculate and hard not to freak out and stuff like that, but we just have to keep continuing making that positive noise about hashtag release the Snyder Cut. We got to keep continuing to talk about it on Twitter, and just we have that video that John Aaron Garza is putting together for us. I've seen a lot of videos being sent to me. I think I have over a dozen or so, and there's still some more coming over, and I've been forwarding it off to John to work on it. I think his deadline is tomorrow, he said. So please continue doing that, and he's going to give us something pretty cool, and we're going to tag all the trades. We're going to talk about all that. We're to make some noise, and make some noise matters. We've made enough noise that people are understanding that it exists now. Well, let's make enough noise so that Warner Brothers will have to say something about it. And if they are going to do it at San Diego Comic-Con, great. I'll be there. Now, I won't be physically there, but I'll be here online. I'll be here live. I'll be live on a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna be watching it with you, looking at the TL and looking wherever, if I can ever find someone who can actually channel through the, actually see it live on the stage. That'd be awesome. Of course, they would turn it off for the, the trailers and stuff like that. But for the panels, if there's something like that, that'd be awesome. I'll be right here to look at it, and I'll chat with you guys, and I'll look at you guys, and then we'll see. We'll see what happens. And that's the exciting part. The journey right now is exciting to figure out what's going to happen. What's going to happen? What are they going to talk about? We're going to get Aquaman trailer. Man, Aquaman trailer for the first time. We're possibly getting a Shazam trailer, what's hinted at anyway. We're going to get a look at Wonder Woman 1984. We're going to have possibly Superman sequel news. Possibly Ben Affleck still being Batman. What is their slate now? What's going on with that? And finally, maybe there's going to be a Snyder Cut. Maybe there's going to be a Snyder Cut. I sure hope there's no Whedon cut, because Whedon had his chance. It's already out, and they came out in theaters. We've seen the DVDs of that. That's Whedon's cut. That's the Whedon cut. So we want to see the Snyder Cut. And I think their Warner Brothers may be smart enough to not just throw something out there that is not necessarily what we want, and just try to pass it off as what we want. And not saying anything about it. I think we will continue to talk about it and tweet about it, and things continue like that until they actually address it. And that's what we really want them to do: address it. Yes or no. That's all we want. And so it's an interesting time. It really is. And I think we're getting to the trades. I myself have, interestingly, an interview with Wall Street Journal tomorrow about release a Snyder Cut. So we'll see how that turns out. All right, guys. Well, anyway, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.